Hello and welcome to Two Girls in a Pod. I'm Sharon.
I'm Christy.
And we are super, super excited today to have a guest on, Aj Robb, who's an up-and-coming MMA star and hopefully champion one day. That's what we're putting out there. So, but we wanted to talk with him particularly about, how he got started, how you choose it, and just kind of what motivates him to continue doing what he does. So welcome, Aj.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Yeah. Appreciate the love.
So starting out with, you have a fight coming up.
Yeah, I got a fight January 28th. I'm the main event for Sparta Combat League. I think they're called Sparta Sports Entertainment now. But main event. It'll be my third main event in Colorado.
Okay, give us the date and the time and the place.
January 28th, Arapahoe County Fairgrounds. I think the doors open at like 6. I'm the main event, so I won't fight until about 9:30, 10. We're going to put on the show.
So how soon can people start getting tickets to this?
Today, tomorrow, yeah. I mean, I was supposed to get the tickets physically. You can buy them online right now. You can buy them on the website, but I like to physically get people their tickets. That means a little bit more, to me personally. Mm-hmm. So I'm supposed to get. I'm actually going on Monday up to Denver. Not Denver, but Boulder to do a photo shoot. Promotion and stuff for them. So hopefully I get my tickets there. They're supposed to send them. They said they sent it like 2 weeks ago, but I still haven't gotten them. So. But yeah, I have the tickets.
Awesome!
Physically on me.
So you can always find AJ on Facebook and hit him up for some tickets.
Yes, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm on it all.
There you go. So how long have you been doing MMA? Let's start with that.
Started my first fight was in 2014, so I'm 8 years deep. Went pro in 2017. 5 years, been a pro for 5 years. I went 9-1 as an amateur, number one fighter in Colorado at 125 and 135. Then I moved to New Mexico after I had my pro debut, 1-0. Moved to New Mexico, lost 2 fights, 2018, bad year for me. 5-2 now, though, 5-2 now, 4-fight win streak. Should keep rattling it up.
So, kind of said 2018 was a bad year for you. So how is it you bounce back from that? Because you often see that, and, we see that with anybody who follows MMA when you have that thing where you're winning and then you do that thing of losing. What motivates you to continue, and what is your process?
Well, that definitely 2018, because that's when I first moved to New Mexico. So I took a fight on like 13-day notice against a 4, and I was 1-0, fought a 4-0. Lost, I was beating him. I was beating him really good, gassed out, got choked out in the second round. Only every time I've been choked out, and that was like okay. So that was like, oh damn, I need to focus. I need to do it, because before that fight, like I said, I took it on 13-day notice. I was partying, doing my thing, drinking, all that. So then I knew how to refocus. So all was refocusing, and I fought again in November. So I fought that fight in June, and I fought in November, and I lost to the same camp, the same team that just beat me in June. So I was like, okay, now I really got to refocus. Just realign everything, train the way I know how to train the way I know how to be a champion. I certain way I train to where I know, like, I could feel it in my fight camp. Like, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm on champion status level, and that's what it was. Just getting back to, hey, you're not a loser. 1-2. You can start questioning yourself. Is this really for me? Am I really that good? Or, do I suck? You ask yourself a bunch of questions when you lose, because it's not like, let's say like a basketball game, like a football game. You're going to play every week. You're going to play, if I lose a fight, I can't fight next weekend. I got to wait 2 months, 3 months, however long it's going to take to the next fight. So, that's what it was. Just wanted to bounce back. So I lost that fight in November 2018, and I fought again January 2019, and been on the road ever since then. Just got my mind right, refocused. Yeah, definitely. That's all it was, just refocusing.
Could you talk about, so people, and one of the things when I'm working with people in sports is they can often get the physical piece. They can do that piece. They can do the trainings and that, but it's the headspace.
Yeah, definitely. That's the most, like I say, that's 90% of it is mental. You got to have that 10% is putting the work in, working out, working hard, getting your conditioning in, all that. That's just 10% of it. 90% of it is in your head. Is, okay, how can you mentally get there, mentally focused? That's like, even now with having a child and trying to balance all that, being a dad on top of training all the time, on top of, bills, money, this, that, and third. Just be able to if you're mentally there, if you're in that good space where you're mentally there, then you can be a champion. You can do whatever you want when you're mentally. But if you're not, if you're off your game, if things ain't right at home, blah, blah, blah. Like, it'll show in that cage. It'll show out there, because you ain't going to be all the way there.
Yeah. Is there anything you do? Go on ahead.
Do you feel like that you have a good support system for that, as far as, like a mentorship or the mental piece of it?
Yeah, definitely have great support at home. Like my last fight, I was supposed to fight in August. the only reason why I missed weight and all that was because I mentally failed. I mentally broke. It had nothing to do with me, my physical ability. Mm-hmm. I just mentally lost it at the end of at the fight camp. So, just having to focus on that. You got to put what's really important to you. We use the acronym WIN. What's important now? What's important now? So you got to focus on what's important now. So that's just a big thing. Just mentally, you got to stay there. You got to stay in that mindset and that process. Because if you don't, like I said, that last fight, I didn't. I let outside factors get to me to where I was focused on my fight. I did the right training. I did everything I was supposed to do for the fight. I just at the end broke. Mm-hmm. So it's like, sometimes things like that happen.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the human component in everything that we do. And I think that sometimes people when they're watching professional sports even, or MMA, and they're sitting there and, the person goes out who they really respect or whatever, and they lose, it's almost like, well, what didn't you do right? And I think sometimes people forget that it's a balancing act. Like you said, you're still a dad at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely.
You still have to provide for your family at the end of the day, and how you kind of balance all those things out. And you're right, there's such a mental component to it. We're not our job.
Yeah, definitely.
There's so much more to it. And so you were training here in Springs, and then you went to Albuquerque because you wanted a different team, or?
Yeah, I wanted a different team. I think that here it was either go up to Denver, go train at the top gyms they got out there, Factory X, Elevation. Those are the two best gyms in Denver. It was either go up to Denver, or I just get away, too close to home, to just, like I said, mentally I had to refocus and put myself in a different position, put myself in a spot where I'm not comfortable, we get uncomfortable, Mm-hmm. And that's what I was. I just moved to. I love it here. When I come back, every time I come back, I come in. I got places to train, a bunch of different gyms I can train at, a bunch of different people who support me and follow the journey. So I'm blessed here. I'm actually moving back after this fight. I'm moving back out here, just to get my son back over here around his family. Like I said, it's too, just me and my girl out there in Albuquerque. It's like too much. That's too much stress, because then we don't got no time with each other alone.
Yeah.
It's baby, 24/7. It's like, okay, I told her, like, hey, we need to get back home so we can have family around us. We can have a little bit of help, just because it takes a village to raise your children, So, we moved back here after this next fight, and just.
Your little one is a cutie, man.
I appreciate
he
you.
is, man.
He's fun. He's so fun.
We follow AJ, and we always looking at your...
He's on those terrible twos right now. Oh, man.
I hate to tell you, it's the threes.
It's the threes. Oh, man. I hope by 3 he understands when I tell him no.
Oh, no. That's 16. No, when they leave home.
When they leave.
I don't know when that kicks in.
Yeah, no, I told my lady, I said, dang, I was like, I don't know. I was like, I know I was bad, but I don't know what's up with this guy.
Getting a double dose.
I don't know what's going on with him.
It's that energy.
But no, it's fun. He's fun. It's definitely a good time. Love my son more than anything. Definitely a great time. Sure.
And I think that's kind of the cool thing, I think, even for you. Now, does your son go to your fights?
He went to my last one, yeah. He went to my last one. I haven't fought since December 2021. Yeah, he went to that one. That was his first fight he ever been to. Yeah, it was a good time.
Oh, cool.
Good.
He was asleep by the end of it, but he had a good time. Getting tossed around all the families. For my last fight, like, we get 100, 200 people out there. Just, it's a nice love, support from all my people from the south side of Springs, all my people in Denver. Just got a bunch of mad support. So it's always like a family reunion. It's basically, high school reunion too. Everyone from high school comes back. Just a great time. Everyone get to see people they haven't seen in so long.
So I guess that was a nice segue into the thing. Do you have people in your life who, whether it's, you met them at school or that have just kind of been on this journey with you this entire time?
Yeah. I got a bunch of people. I got a whole group of my people, who I call my brothers now. We have that relationship. Those are my brothers. They come to every fight. Even when I fought in Arizona, I had 5-6 people drive all the way to Arizona, come watch me fight in Arizona. Awesome. I lost, but it was cool. Yeah, they support. I got support all the time. I got some of my friends, they like to talk shit to each other, like, I missed one fight. You missed 2 fights. They get into you were not that fight. Yeah, so yeah, it's dope, man. It's dope. It's dope to have that support and just that love. Just everyone, my parents rocking with me. Everyone.
Well, one of the things we notice is that you've also the food truck.
Yeah, roll up.
The roll up. You really support that business.
Yeah. The people who own roll up. So it's my buddy Bryce. I went to high school with him. So he was a year ahead of me. He graduated. Bryce, his mom was a teacher too. Real cool people. But right away when they started, he was like, "Hey, I want to sponsor you for your fight." Because I supported him when he had a little sweet treats. He started off with a little sweet treat truck. They moved up to the roll up truck, and then they moved him to the restaurant they got now.
Right.
But they sponsor me every month. They've been sponsoring me since the beginning of my pro career, the one sponsor who sponsored me, no problem since the jump. So, yeah, definitely. I like them. I'm blessed. I'm blessed by them. They definitely support me, and I support them. Nothing but blessings for them.
I think that's what's kind of cool, though, is that when people are supporting each other's business, and, when you're an MMA fighter, that is your business.
Yeah, definitely.
Yours just happens to be Aj Robb. That's your business. That's what you, and that building that up in order to have that fan support, but also the sponsorships and all that. And for people who don't know, when you're up and coming and stuff like that, sponsors are important. But explain why.
Sponsors are important just because basically if I get enough sponsors, which I did this fight camp, blessed enough to have enough sponsors, where I could just train full time. If I don't have enough sponsors, then I got to get a job. I work on the weekends. I referee little kids on the weekends, soccer, football, all that. Make some extra money and, have a little bit of money in my pocket. But the sponsors, they help tremendously so I can focus on my training, on my goals. Like imagine, what I tell people is like, imagine if LeBron James had to go work every weekend instead of focus on basketball.
Exactly.
Instead of, do his thing because he has to make some money. Like the sponsors help tremendously because then I can focus.
Right.
So that's what the sponsorship make, keep me right so I don't have to worry about this and that. Everything's paid for. Everything's good to go. Awesome. We're good to go.
Well, I think that's important, so anybody out there listening, when there's a business like that, and particularly I think sports figures use a lot of sponsorship because it's not like a job. It's not like if you're working for a corporation or things like that. So those sponsorships are really, really important. So that's another really good thing if you're a small business supporting other small fighters or whoever it is through sponsorships. It's another way that I think that small business community interacts with each other and supports each other.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you're out there listening, AJ's going to have another fight. So
looking for sponsors.
Yeah.
January 28th. Hit me up. Facebook, Instagram,
Twitter,
yeah, all of it.
When you're training, what for you is the hardest piece for you?
The hardest piece for me training, running probably. I hate running, but you got to do it. You got to do it.
Gotta get that cardio in.
Yeah, got to do your cardio. Yeah, probably the running. My dad would do it, but I'd prefer not to. But yeah, running, just
it's funny. Our audience knows we follow MMA, but it's so much of the time, you talked about missing weight the last time and how many times we see that, and we're talking, with the UFC because we follow UFC more. We do some Bellator, but UFC is the main one. And how many times it's like on that day away and it's like, oh no, this fight's canceled because somebody didn't make weight, or if they're going to fight, they lose part of their purse, and those kind of things. How hard is that? Because you have to be in that little window, that sweet spot for weight.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably the hardest part is, it's always hard. It's hard for anybody to lose weight. Because, I've dropped maybe 20 pounds. This next fight's at 145. I'm 165. I'm going to have to lose 20 pounds to make that weight. But I'm going to be 145 for, an hour of my life. And I'm going to be right back to 165 after I weigh in. But yeah, that's that's the battle, dude. What a lot of people, we all say is like, that's your first fight. Your first fight is beating that scale. Right. Go stand on that scale. Make your weight, beat the scale. Now go have fun. That's the hard part. That's the stressful part. You got to diet. Am I going to make it? You're in the sauna or you're in your sweatsuit or you're doing your workout and you just want to give up. You're like, I don't want to do this no more. I want to quit. I can't. I'm not going to make it. You get a bunch of doubts and then you got your support system, your coaches. And now you got it. Do your thing. You got it. And as soon as you see yourself on the scale and you make that weight, that's everything. As soon as you sit, just so much stress relief. After you make that weight, because then I can eat whatever I want, rehydrate, do what I got to do to get back to this. When I step in the cage, be like I say, 20 pounds more than when I just weighed in the day before. So it's like,
I think when people sit there and think, well, that makes absolutely no sense. It's like you want me to get down to 145, but I'm really going to fight at 165, and the person you're fighting may be at 175.
Yeah, you never know.
Because and that's funny because we often hear that, and you'll see that when they go to the weigh-ins, and then you watch them when they get in the ring, and it's like, where'd that other half a person come on back?
Yeah, definitely.
It's insane.
I was gonna say they say I think like Joe Rogan's always like it's basically cheating. It's basically cheating. But if you're a wrestler, I'm wrestling my whole life, and that's what I wrestle. I'm gonna weigh in at 103, but by the end of that day, I'm 115 pounds, 120 pounds. But wrestling, you don't get as big as MMA because the MMA wrestling, you weigh in. So for wrestling, I weigh in at 7 a.m. I'm wrestling at 9 a.m. For fighting, so when you bring that same mindset to fighters, like fighters me, who wrestle their whole life, and you tell me, hey, you're going to weigh in Friday, but you're not fighting until Saturday night. So you're telling me I get a whole day to rehydrate, and that's beautiful. Sure, I'll kill myself and get down to 145 real quick and weigh in and be cool. And if you tell me I get a whole day to rehydrate, I don't have to. Because imagine if fighters had to weigh in at 7 a.m. and we're all fighting at 9.
Right.
There's gonna be a lot more people aren't gonna be dropping 20 pounds and then going. You might have people dropping 5, 10 pounds. You ain't gonna drop 20 pounds and then step in the cage.
You're not going to be effective. And I think you see that sometimes on some fights. You'll see
definitely.
If somebody's doing too dramatic and they're not, you'll see them sluggish.
Yeah, sometimes people cut too much weight or they don't rehydrate. I think the biggest thing is the refuel. The biggest thing is after you weigh in, how are you refueling yourself? You're drinking your water, your Pedialyte, your Gatorades, because what I do is I do a water load. So I drink 2-3 gallons. Like say I weigh in on a Friday, I'll do a water load where I'm drinking 3 gallons on Sunday, 2 gallons on Monday, 2 gallons on Tuesday. It's water manipulation. So then your body, you start peeing a bunch, pee. And then all that water. So I'm cutting weight. I'll weigh like 170, just full of water. Go to sleep that Wednesday, 170, lose my weight, pee all night. The next day I wake up, I'm like 155. I lost 15 pounds, just water. Boom.
Wow.
But then when I go work out, I take my sodium out, so I got no salt in me, so the water's not sticking to me. So as soon as I put a sweatsuit on or go sit in the sauna, I'm just sweating, just dripping, and it's all just water. Boom. So that's why I can lose that 20 pounds of water, boom, and put it all back on right after I weigh in, because water manipulation. So,
right.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you're doing these training camps and that, do they really work with you on the nutrition piece too?
You got to get a nutritionist. You do your research or find a nutritionist, find somebody who's going to help you out. Sometimes I've had a few camps where I get, person who sends me a diet plan and I'm, eating a certain amount, eating this. Now I'm at a point where I got it figured out for the most part. But yeah, I'm sure when I get signed to the UFC or Bellator or whatever, I'll have even more, because what they do at the UFC, at the Performance Institute, like they test your body, they put you on the machines and test how low can you go, this is the way you can make, this is how much you can eat every day, they put you on a whole plan when you get to that level. So it's like, that's what I'm hoping. I get to UFC and just, I can have these people take over my nutrition plan, give me something to where it's real easy, just straightforward. Hey, you got to eat this, you got to do that, you make sure you work out this much, your heart rate has to be like this. They do all that testing over there. So hopefully I get that. But
that's a nice little perk,
right?
Yeah, definitely. So hopefully, get to the UFC and get that, so I can make weight 135, and I have everything set in stone. So,
It's interesting because sometimes when I am listening to the fighters and they're talking about what they do and how they get ready for stuff, there are those fighters who say they use a lot of visualization. It's like they visualize themselves winning, or they visualize how they see a fight going. Do you do that? Or
yeah, definitely. That's like my opponent now. I'm fighting Josh Huber, and that's the only person on my mind is Josh Huber. Finishing him, visualizing that. I'm talking to my brothers, talking to my teammates, even when I'm training. This is how I'm gonna finish him. This is what's gonna happen in the fight. This is how it's gonna go. You see that? You see yourself there. Manifest it. You manifest that. Boom. It all comes to life when you get there, and you know what to expect. You know what to expect, and you're ready for that. You're ready for that journey. You're ready for that mission. You're ready for that fight. You're ready for that. Because you already seen it. You have to visualize it for a whole 6 weeks since you signed the contract. You visualized whooping that dude's ass. So, boom, focus. Josh Huber. That's all I was saying. Josh Huber. That's the biggest part. Visualizing, seeing it before it's happening. Putting it out there in the air and making sure you got all that in your mind. Like I see myself now talking. I'm seeing myself now kneeing him in the side, punching him in his face. Just see it all. So yeah, definitely visualize is a big thing for sure.
And I think that's really interesting because I think that sometimes, and I mean, I know that you watch film of him and things like that, so you kind of get an idea. And then when you train, you try to find people who are going to somewhat mimic him, or that's usually what people do. Yeah. Do you find that's helpful?
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you have somebody, like I said, because my teammates, for this camp, sit there, watch them fight on the guy. Okay, that's what he likes to do a lot. Hey, so when we're training, he throws that overhand right. He throws a Superman punch all the time. Throws Superman punches at me when we're training. So when I do get into that fight, I already know what's going to happen. I know he's going to throw that right. I know when I see his leg move just a little bit, that leg kick's coming. I take little notes of from the film or of when okay, well, I know when he does that, he's getting ready to do that. Yeah. Prepare yourself and just see that, to see it there.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because I know that they had the fight, was it last week or the week before, where they wanted Glover to fight the guy, and he says, I'm not going to do it because he said that there's a difference between fighting a left-handed fighter and a right-handed fighter.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think especially at his stage in his career, because maybe he was a young guy, maybe he was my age, and they give you that fight. Well, you want to fight for the championship? You don't want to say yeah, sure. What I tell people, it's not a tough man competition at that level. It's a business. What makes sense business wise? It didn't make sense for him to fight there because then if he loses, he only getting paid half his money, and on top of that, he loses because he's a tough guy and he can fight on a week's notice against this other guy. Now you didn't for your camp and you prepare so much for that type of person you're gonna fight. So it's like that's me. Last year I had not last year, 2019. I had a few opponent change a week before the fight, 2 weeks before. I could have said no, like, hey, no, I don't want to fight. I'm not gonna fight him. I've been preparing for this guy. But like I said, at my stage in my career, whatever. Come on, let's do it. But if I'm at that level, and it's business-wise, it makes sense business-wise. Business-wise, it's not a smart decision because you put yourself in a bad spot with not being prepared or with just putting yourself out there in that bad spot. You don't want to,
Yeah. Well, I think there is a difference too. Like you said, is also that mental thing of when you are at that level, because he's, he was a champion and he's getting ready to go fight for the championship again. Is that thing of, you're right. If not necessarily that I lack the confidence to beat somebody, but there's always that. I mean, we saw it with Usman. We saw it with, we've seen it with, we saw these unexpected things, with these fighters who have held these championships, and it just takes one. Yeah, it really takes one punch or one kick, and you're out.
Change your whole life.
Right. But I think the thing is that you're right in that case. That 1% chance that you're not going to win, he can drop in rank, and all of these other things. That you're right does impact him in a different way. Yeah. And like you said, you're at this stage in your career that the more you fight, the more you get seen. How does one get into the UFC?
Basically, it's all about who you know. It's all about having good management. If you have good management and you know the right people, like that's why I'm at the gym in New Mexico now. I know a bunch of people now. I got a bunch of connections to. Basically, it's all about who you know and your connections. And if you're winning on the regional scene. So you're winning. You're winning belts for the LFA, for the bigger regional promotions. So usually they say like LFA, you win an LFA title, you're gonna get called to the UFC. If you win CFFC, it's the East Coast promotion, you win the belt on there, you're more than likely gonna get called to the UFC or Bellator, get a major deal. So that's basically who you know, and just putting yourself in that right spot, putting yourself in the spotlight, fighting, winning regional belts, regional titles. But I'm realizing now more than ever, it's all about who you know, really. Because there's people in the UFC, I could just dog walk, I could, destroy it, but they know somebody who knows somebody, so they're in the UFC. So if I knew somebody who knew somebody, I'd probably already be in the UFC. You know what I mean? So, just putting yourself out there, knowing people, knowing the right people, having the right connections, and you get there for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think I've come to realize that's in anything. Now it's really, they're not looking at skill set. They're not looking at those things. It's, Joe, okay, then you get in.
We'll give you a shot. We'll give you a chance.
Yeah. And I think that sometimes can be a little discouraging as well, though.
Yeah, definitely.
To know your potential, but know that because you don't have that bridge, so to speak, it's like trying to navigate that when it should be on your skill set.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the one thing that gets me. It's when I'm watching UFC fights and I see a guy, I'm like, I would beat the hell out of this dude. I'd destroy him. But he's in the UFC somehow because he knows somebody or he fought for so-and-so, his friend is Henry Cejudo, so Henry Cejudo done said something to Dana White, and they got connections. That's why he's fighting for the UFC. So it's like, oh, yeah, man, it's all about who you know for the main part. Mm-hmm.
How do you network? Because, even say if you need sponsorship or stuff, what is your process to network, to get those things that you need to help you be successful?
Just social media, really, social media on the Facebook, or like I said, Twitter, Instagram, just network, share my information, share highlights, share past fights, just constantly promoting myself. Hey, come check me out. Or now, like I said, I've been in New Mexico. I met, I know John Jones, Holly Holm, Diego Sanchez, my buddy Pat. He's been fighting for $1 million in Bellator tournament. He's in the championships. Like, just meeting these people through fighting, and then they take you to a training at some place, and then now you meet their coaches. Now you meet another person. And it's just like that, just, through the grapevine, meeting different people through fighting, or just sharing your story because people are interested. People are interested in how'd you start fighting? How did you get into this? How are you? And then when you're good, it's another thing. If I sucked, you might have a little more trouble. When you're badass and you can kick everyone's ass and do your thing, it's a lot easier. So,
Social media, I think, has really played a big role for a lot of people in the networking piece of it. So that's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
What brought you to MMA though? Because you said you kind of grew up wrestling.
Yeah, I grew up wrestling. Wrestled for a while for high school. What brought me to fighting, I went and wrestled at CSU Pueblo. I went wrestle D2. That didn't work out, too close to home. Like I said, that's why I moved to Minnesota. Too close to home, getting drunk, having a fun time with the buddies, doing all that extra shit. And then I got kicked out the wrestling team. What was that? 2013. Got kicked out the wrestling team. Got dropped out of college. Then I was going to go to Fort Hays. So I went and stayed in Kansas for a little bit. Went and stayed in Kansas. Had a good time. I was going to talk to the wrestling coach, but I didn't go to school or nothing. I just stayed at my buddy's dorm room, had a good time. But then, like I said, I was having too much of a good time. Ended up getting locked up. Ended up going to jail for like a marijuana possession. In Kansas is illegal marijuana possession. And that was like my big wake up call. Like, you don't want to live that type of life where, you're in and out of jail, doing this, doing that. So I came back home to Colorado, started coaching wrestling at a gym. It's called Victory MMA now. That gym right there off Academy. Mm-hmm. Used to be called, what was it called? I don't know what it was called, but I started training with the wrestling. I was coaching little kids in the gym. I would see them training and stuff. So I was like, maybe I should go try it out. So I tried some kickboxing, and I was good. I was like, hey, all right, let's start fighting. So that's basically just had to change my life. And I knew I only had you have a certain window to be an athlete. So I knew I had to take advantage of it. I was good at sports. I didn't want to see my athletic career end there. I couldn't do the school. So I just wasn't with the school. But hey, I could fight. I could, show up to practice every day and put my work in. And that's all it was. Just put the work. I think I started training like September. I fought that January. So I only trained for like, 3-4 months. Didn't know much. I just knew how to fight. I just knew how to, box. And didn't know any kicks. I used to never throw kicks. I used to always punch people.
How do you feel like if you had to look at your overall MMA, where do you feel like you're strongest in? Where are you still saying, I really need to work, having some of that improvement in those areas?
I got mad power. I knock out a lot of people. I got 8 knockouts on my record, which it's good and bad. It's bad because it's hard to find fights. People look you up and they see your record and they see KO. So it's hard. They don't want to fight nobody, knocking everybody out. So my strong point. I'm good at boxing, wrestling, getting way better at jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. Muay Thai is getting really good. But yeah, I could probably maybe a little more jiu-jitsu, maybe more submissions. I don't really submit people a lot, so maybe it's my submissions I could work on. I don't know, but I feel like I'm getting good everywhere. Muay Thai, it doesn't matter where the fight goes, ground, feet, wherever. I'm comfortable. I don't care where I go in the fight. I'm comfortable. So, but yeah, just keep doing that. Just keep doing little things.
Because you said you're going to move back to Springs, so you said now your training is in Albuquerque. So what does that mean for you?
I'm going to come back here and just find a new gym. I'll probably test a bunch of these gyms out. So I'll probably go to Victory MMA, check them out. I got a bunch of friends out here, or a bunch of fighting mates, a bunch of people who been following my career. We all hang out with each other, follow each other's career. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll probably come out here and try out a couple gyms and see which one I like the most. But I got I got BJJ gym that I train at, Kraken MMA. Kraken BJJ up off Austin Bluffs. My coach Tyler Larson is my coach over there. I'll probably train at his gym. Just everywhere. I don't know. We'll see. Here or there. My cousin trains. My cousin Adam Martinez. He just fought this last weekend. He's a pro fighter also and trains at Factory X. So I might go check out his gym. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when I get back and play it by ear.
Well, I think it's kind of cool because, living in a town where there are different gyms, it's becoming more of a sport that people are really wanting to participate in, whether it's just to be in shape or whatever. I keep telling her, go MMA.
Oh, yeah.
You ever done some cardio kickboxing?
Yeah, no, I have not.
Not for everyone, that's for sure. But yeah, it's fun. I don't know what I'm gonna do. When I get back here, I think I'll just try out a couple different gyms, see which one I like the most, see which coaches I cling to or have a good relationship with, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We know Raquel.
Okay, yeah. Her coach that's in her corner is my jiu-jitsu coach.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So her coach is my same coach in my corner. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Okay. We like to follow the local ones, so the ones who fight out of here, Denver, a little bit more because we like to support our little home state here.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
But I think there is, and I think that's the other really cool thing about what we've noticed about MMA is that you always talk about this. What do you like about MMA when we're watching the fights? You always say this.
I do. I don't know.
At the end of the fight.
I just love that there's always so much respect.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I love that part of it because you always see the fighters go to each other and they talk about, they know that you guys put your all into that, and
definitely.
So I think that's really cool.
There's a certain, it's almost like there's this air of respect.
Yeah,
definitely. Because you know how it is before the fight, they're talking shit,
right?
On your face, doing all that. But then after you get in there, after you step in that cage and that cage door gets locked and you go toe to toe with somebody, and if either if you knock them out, submit them, or if it's just a bloodbath, 3-round war, that's mad respect. Because it takes a lot to get in that cage. It takes a lot to get in that cage, and just it's a wild. It's a crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I love it, but it's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, we're super excited because your fight will be our first MMA fight.
Okay, yeah.
We're so excited about it.
Hell yeah, it'll be fun.
Because we talk about, one of the things that's really important to us on this is having mentors. And when you coach little kids and they get into wrestling, you become their mentor, and so you role model these behaviors and stuff like that. For you, who in MMA would be your mentor? Who are those fighters that you look up to and say, oh man, they have that kind of package or bits and pieces that you like of what they do?
I'm a real big fan of Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, real big fan of him. I like his style. I feel like his style fits my style a lot. Bring that car accident. That's what he says. I want to bring a car accident. It don't matter.
He does.
Yeah, exactly. It don't matter. Head-on collision. I like that. I love his mentality and his, so I would say Justin Gaethje. Yeah, Justin Gaethje. Cool. I like Henry Cejudo too. I respect his game. I want to fight him, but I respect his game. Let's think. A few other people. Really, Justin Gaethje really is my go-to guy when it comes to my head right away. Justin Gaethje. I love his style. I love the way he just carries himself and the way represents Colorado. So Justin Gaethje for sure is my.
I always think it's so interesting too. When they talk about it, and you'll hear when DC Joe and John and all when they're talking about it. When you see the difference between a heavyweight fighter and you see the lower weights, the heavyweights, it's a lot of power.
Yeah, definitely. And all it takes is one with them guys. One hit and get hit with a
Francis Ngannou hits you and you're out.
Yeah.
It's such a different, because it's almost like when you guys do a lot more grappling, a lot more of that, and we've kind of seen, or I don't know, maybe this is something I'll ask you. Have you seen kind of a shift in that a little bit? Because, and I know it's a lot of the judging and stuff like that. So there's been all this controversy about how the judging has gone on. What are your thoughts about that? What is your thought when you go, if you have a match that goes to the judging? How much anxiety or like, oh crap, did I do enough?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've only had what? I think I had one decision as an amateur. I had a decision in my pro debut, but I knew I won that, kind of. So it wasn't that much of a like, and I lost the decision, and I was like, I lost. I didn't do enough, so I knew that. But yeah, it'd have to be nerve wracking, especially if you don't know if you did know, or it's a good like if it's back and forth, and especially like you say the judging controversy. You don't know who's judging. You don't know who the judge is. You don't know if that judge wrestled. You don't know if that judge did kickboxing. You don't know if that judge does Muay Thai. You don't know what that judge does or how much knowledge they have of the game. So maybe they saw it. Maybe you felt, I was kicking them. I was taking them down. But maybe they don't care about takedowns. They care about you hitting them in the face. They care about the damage or they care about the submission attempts. So it's like you never know when it comes to that. And like the controversy we have now with the judges, like because what everyone's trying to say, like why don't we have fighters judging these fights? Why don't we have coaches, people who know the game, people who, why don't we have retired fighters being the judges for the fights? Because they know what a fight wins, what it takes to win, or they can, see that clearly they won. Because who was it? What, that Sean O'Malley fight? Under Sean, everyone was like, hold up, he got robbed. What's going on? He got robbed. And, there's been a bunch of fights this year where people, like you can tell, you guys as fans can say, oh, I know who won that fight. Mm-hmm. And then they announce the other guy and you're like, ain't no way. How there's no way. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I like to say just don't go to the judges. That's my thing. I'm like,
well, I mean, and I think we keep hearing more and more of that now because of all the controversy. We had the Patty fight just recently.
Oh, yep. It's another one.
Ago that, that was really one of those things because once again, he was very much controlling him. But then does that mean the judge sits there and says, but I mean, I don't think I could control somebody on the fence for that long. That's a lot of freaking energy you're putting out there. Or, when you have somebody on the ground for a while. But I never thought of that. That's really an interesting concept. An idea that you just said is bringing that bias in for whatever might be your thing. If you're into boxing and that's what you see, or if you're into jiu-jitsu or whatever it is that what you're looking for in the fights? And is that what you lean more towards?
Mm-hmm.
So that's really interesting because there's a psychology to that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I just think like that. Like when I tell my coaches, and like, I'm not even trying to see the judges. Let's just finish them. Let's get the KO, get the submission. Because like I said, you never know. I could be beating the hell out of somebody for 15 minutes, and then they raise this other dude's hand because I didn't beat him the way they wanted me to beat him.
Mm-hmm. So this is another question I have for you. Is sometimes and we'll talk about this too. Is that we'll be watching a fight, and the coaches will very clearly tell the fighter, you need to do this, because they get a different kind of view.
Mm-hmm.
You being in the ring, you're like, the engagement is very different for you. But oftentimes, how hard is it for you to listen to your coach if you're perceiving something else going on?
Yeah, it's definitely really hard. I think what I do for my fights, like if you watch any of my videos, you can see what I do is I go, touch gloves or whatever, but I turn them right around and I bring them right to my corner. We're going to fight right in my corner. So I can hear my coach. I can hear everything, and that helps a lot if you can sit there and put them in that corner. It's hard if you're in their corner and you hear their coaches, hey, do this, hey. Right. Or and their coaches will get in your head. He sucks. He don't know how to do this, That'll get in your head. So what I like to do,
that's good.
Yeah, what I do is I bring that fight straight to my corner. We're going to fight right here. So my coaches don't got to scream and yell. They can sit there and talk me through the fight, and we can do it that way. But I think it's really hard, especially if it's a big crowd or it's really loud in there. It takes me back to like wrestling matches when my coaches are screaming, and the crowd is going crazy. You don't hear nothing. You're in your zone. You don't hear nothing. But sometimes, that's my coach's voice. Okay, mm-hmm. I can hear him. I think with MMA, like I said, if I bring them straight to my corner, that's where I like it. Boom, bringing the people straight to my corner. Everyone can hear everything. They ain't got to yell. Hey, grab his wrist. Hey, take his back. Hey, take him down. Cool.
That's a smart thing to do.
Really? Yeah. See, everybody listening.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure you bring them straight to your corner.
And I think, like, in that instance, it's in the moment. But at the end of a round, you go back and your coaches are talking to you. Because we see this sometimes where the coach is talking and they'll say very clearly, you can't do this because this continues. So they'll say sometimes stop kicking because they're getting you down with that or whatever. And the person goes right out and continues to do what they do. How hard is it to not do what you were doing? Do you see what I mean? Because there's a mental piece to that.
I think it's definitely hard. I think what's hard for the coaches too is because you're telling your fighter, do this, you're doing this, and it's putting you in a bad spot. Do this, and then if you don't listen, they're like, oh my God, like, why is this guy listening? But like I said, when you're out there, sometimes I've had fights. I think it might have been my sixth amateur fight. I broke my hand the first 30 seconds of the fight. Boom, broke my hand, and when I went back to the corner, round 2, round 3, I blacked out. I don't remember the fight. I don't even remember the fight because I was just so adrenaline pumped, hand broken. My coaches were telling me things to do. I didn't listen to them at all because I was so in that zone in that moment. So I mean, it comes with age. It comes with experience. Now I can really hear my coaches and we talk about everything. If we go to the second round, we can have a good kind of listen to them and because they like you say they're seeing things. You're in there, you can throw your right, and that's when they say throw your 2 because they see that they can see it from over there that 2 is open. Throw that 2. Listen to your coaches. Listen to exactly what they're telling you because they're seeing it from a different perspective. That's there.
And I think that's the other thing that we really like too about MMA is that relationship, and you can very definitely see that relationship between coaches. And you can see when it's not there too.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a very important thing also as a fighter, having good coaches, having your coaches support you, and just having that relationship with your coaches because you got to trust them that they're telling you the right stuff. Because imagine if you got a coach you don't know or somebody that you didn't want in your corner because you got pressured to having this guy in your corner or blah blah blah, and they're telling you stuff that's not your style though. You don't fight like that. Or they're telling you, you need to do this. You're like, I don't do that. That's not what I do. You weren't watching me during my fight camp to see what I was doing. So I got the same coaches I've had maybe since my second fight. My coach Jeff Martin and Tyler Larson, my coaches. And I send them like clips of me sparring, or I send them videos, or we talk, okay, this is a game plan for this guy. And that good relationship with my coaches takes you a long way. If you have that great relationship with your coaches, it takes you a long way. So
another thing I think, when we talk about the mental piece of, because me, I'm always a therapist here. It was really funny because, when Amanda Nunes was with her group, after every fight, you could see that relationship she had with that head coach. He'd pick her up, he'd do this. And then when she had to make that tough decision to leave that, and, she said, how can I fight the person who sometimes maybe is sparring. How much of that really, to me, it seems like it would play a role in that. Because if you develop a friendship with them you've seen that with some of the fighters.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a big thing for me. I won't fight. If I won't take that back because I'm at Jackson Wink. So I'm at Jackson Wink now. I fought 2 guys from that gym before I moved there. So I fought 2 of their guys, and now I'm teammates with them. I'm buddies with them. We cool as hell. If I'm like your teammate, if we've been training for 2-3 years together and we've been getting in grinding, I'm not gonna fight. There's no reason for that.
Well, don't you also think that it puts both of you at a disadvantage?
Yeah, exactly.
Because
you know all your moves, and it also puts you at a disadvantage because like what I tell people, like, and because I gotta go to the place that I go when I fight, like I gotta have the mindset I'm gonna kill you. That's me. I'm in the ring for one reason only, I'm gonna kill you. The only reason why you're gonna stay alive after this fight is because the referee's gonna save you. If there was no referee here, I would kill you with my bare hands. And that's where I gotta go to do what I gotta do. I couldn't do that to my friend. I couldn't do that, because I like I said, my cousin fights. And like a lot of people, hey, would you ever fight your cousin? I'm like, no, I would never fight my cousin. Now you couldn't pay me $20 billion to fight my cousin because I have to go to that dark place. I don't want to do that to my cousin. I don't want to do that. That's just like a teammate. Why would I? The dark place. It's a crazy world out there.
Yeah. So. Do you feel like a lot of people have to go as a fighter, that they have to go somewhat to a darker place? Because if you don't, then, and I don't know, sometimes I wonder, who are they fighting to?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. You got like people like who just fought a couple weeks ago against Kevin Stephen Thompson. Yeah, like Stephen Thompson, real nice guy, laid back, yes. Real nice, laid back, chill. But if you probably goes to that dark place too, where I just think if anybody, if you're a fighter, like you got to go to some type of dark place. You got to have some type of. You're not fighting for no reason. You got some type of demon, some type of something.
Well, there has to be that motivation.
Yeah, something to give you that. Like I said, you're punching, kicking, you're like madness.
So what motivates you to do this? Because it's brutal on the body. It's brutal on the mind.
I don't know. I just love fighting. I just love, and to get paid for it.
You could do it legally?
Yeah, exactly. I can legally destroy you. I can legally beat you up and not get in trouble. I don't got to go to jail. I don't got an assault charge or nothing. I don't know. I just love fighting. I've always loved fighting. I've loved fighting before I started fighting. Man. Fighting at parties, fighting in school, fighting my brothers. Just always loved fighting. Always loved fighting. I'm blessed that I have the opportunity and my body's able to keep up with my training and keep up what I'm doing. I'm blessed to be able to like I said, just beat people up. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And you get paid for it. It's beautiful. All right. I'll do it.
But I think there's something to that. I think sometimes when people do have that, when you get into, and oftentimes, when I'm working with people, and especially my young males, they'll have more of that aggressive thing. And they're like, go find an outlet for that. Mm-hmm. Go find a constructive outlet that's going to, and a lot of times, we're putting them into Taekwondo, or we're going little 5-year-old Taekwondo. Or we're
wrestling, jiu-jitsu, something. Yeah, definitely something. Definitely. And I think that's a big thing too. Like my attitude, or like my, say if I don't train, like if I'm just chilling, I'm not training, I might not, like my attitude's different. I got that extra in me. Then I go train for 3 hours. I come back nice and relaxed, nice and chill. Need that outlet. Mm-hmm. If I don't go train for 2-3 days, I'm doing something, my mind gets all weird, So yeah, definitely it's a great outlet just to
go and expel some of that energy.
Go and hit something, or go kick something, go get a real good workout, good run in. Just keeps me coming back. I'm addicted to that. I'm addicted to the process. I'm addicted to the process. I'm addicted to the journey. I'm addicted to the seeing how far I can go. And I'm right there. 5-2 pro. UFC is there. I can see it. I can feel it. I'm watching my teammates get signed to the UFC. The teammates, and I'm beating up at practice. I'm watching my teammates, so I know I'm right there. So gotta stay focused, continue on the journey, continue the process, and like the rest is gonna happen. The rest is gonna be beautiful. So just gotta stay on my things and be good. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what we talk about often, is the importance of following your dream, having a process, understand it's a journey, and to invest in you, and how much you invest in you becomes your investment in your journey as well. So final question. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I do have, real quickly, I know that you do music too, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So where does that fit in with your...
So this is my whole plan. This has been my plan since the jump. I've been making music since like 8th grade. But my whole thing was, before I started fighting, it was like, okay, should I go 100% into music? Mm-hmm. Or should I, like I said, be an athlete? I only have a certain time. I figured, hey, I only have a certain time to be an athlete. I can make music till I'm 60. Right. I can make music until I die,
Right.
So the focus is fight, get in the UFC, get this money, get right. And then I could start dropping music videos. And then when I get done fighting, another 5-6 years of fighting, however long, who knows, 5-10 years, who knows how long I'll be fighting. But then I can focus on my music. I can focus on my music, and I have the money to do it. It takes money to do your music and music videos and all that. So yeah, but my music ties into everything I do. I make a lot of music, and that's part of that's my after fighting. That's what I'm put my 100% in is the music. So yeah, definitely.
Nice.
So real quickly along with that line. So talk a little bit about, do you write your own music?
I write my own music, everything. I write all my own music.
And what genre do you do?
Hip hop or R&B. I do a couple. I got a few love songs. I got a few gangster songs. I got a little bit of everything. So I got a song, motivation songs. I got a song called Dreaming out there. It's a really good song. I got a song, Be Alone. It's got a suicide song. Something about just everything. So just try to touch based off of my life or based off of my experiences. I make music based off of my experiences in my life and try and share with everybody to see if they can relate to it. So. A lot of songs that can relate to people or tell my story. I got a song called How It Started. It explains the whole process and how I started fighting. Tells you everything, like how I ended up in jail, how I ended up in jail, how I ended up back here, how I did that.
Awesome.
So, yeah, definitely plays a big part.
Well,
sure.
how cool. Final question for you. Your son is going to be a wrestler?
Definitely. Oh, yeah. State champion. 4-timer. It's going to be a 4-timer.
And he'll be starting that training next week, people know.
Yeah. He started last week.
He's already beating Dad up.
He started last week.
He's already beating people up, so he might as well.
And he's real funny. Because ever since he's been born, I like take him down. I take down 2. And now he'll do it by himself. I'll come up. I'll say, wrestle. Let's go. Let's wrestle. I'll grab him. And he goes on the floor. He goes, 2. You got it.
Oh,
that is so awesome. We are so happy you joined us. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for sponsoring me and all that. I appreciate you guys. Much love for sure. Can't wait for you guys to come to this fight. I'll make weight when the fight's gonna happen. I'll make weight, and it'll be a beautiful. You guys will love it.
We are so excited.
Yeah, MMA live is a whole different experience from watching on TV. When you're there live, it's. Whew.
Oh, we're ready.
It's gonna be awesome.
And on the main events, everyone's gonna be drunk as hell by the time my fight comes. So
there might be fights on the outside that we'll be watching.
You might see 2 or 3 fights right next to you, and you're looking to the left, looking to the right. Like,
Yeah.
Well, once again, we so appreciate it. And people, Aj Robb, and once again, you can find him on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Hit him up for some tickets. He will be fighting January 28th.
28th, yep.
In Aurora.
Yep. Aurora,
Okay.
yep, Denver. Main event, January 28th.
Awesome.
And once again, thank you all for joining us. Hope that you have a really great holiday, and we will be back next week. Bye.
Merry Christmas.